Man, this is getting much worse than previously expected. If any of you thought that because you didn't hold FTT token, you're safe, we've got a bit of reality check coming. Oh, man, the crypto markets crash across the board as fears of FTX, the world's second largest crypto exchange, becoming insolvent continue to spread. People continue to take their money from the exchange, and you can see here that the FTT token down another 20% today, well below that $22 support, falling below $18 here. This is having wider consequences on Bitcoin, on Solana, on many other projects. What does this mean for you and your portfolio? We're going to break down exactly what to expect and what my game plan is going into what is a really scary moment and testing moment for the crypto space. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Check out the links in the description. If you want to buy any cryptocurrency, do so using BYBIT or BitGet, links in the description. Those are the two exchanges I use. Really intuitive to use. You can use the trading view charts. They've got a bunch of recurring buy different features as well. Zero maker fees on any spot, so you're super easy to use. So definitely check out those platforms. FTT continues to dump it. Remember, we were looking here at this $22 level as support. You can see where I put this arrow here. That dates back to the summer of 2021. It's also our June lows and the lows where we were bouncing just before these rumors started to kick off. And you can see that this level has been breached. And this spells a lot of trouble for FTT token. And I've seen a lot of kind of conversation around crypto Twitter, in our Discord, etc., around the fact that I don't care. I don't own FTT token. It's okay. I think a lot of people are missing the point. FTT token is majoritively held by Alameda Research. Average people are not holding this token. This is one of those tokens that was not seen as a desirable token to hold for whatever reason, right? So a lot of people are not holding this token in reality. But this still has a direct consequence on you. And that comes back to this contagion effect, which I want to introduce you to. We need to understand that when a project of this size collapses, you need to understand what are the second, third degree consequences when everybody else gets dragged through this mire. And we're going to come on to this because a lot of people are calling this the Binance versus the Sam Bankman-Fried rift, and we're going to get into that as well. But you got to understand, this has implications for Binance as well, okay? Now, we're seeing Binance fall slightly today, but against Bitcoin, they're actually up 2%, which is interesting because a lot of people are moving across into Binance because it's a natural alternative to FTX. But one thing I would say is for sure, if FTT falls, this will be bad for the whole crypto space. You're already seeing Bitcoin down 4% today. Bitcoin is now below that 20,000 level mark, which we worked so hard to establish. We were monitoring this here. We worked above the 20 level. And Bitcoin on its own terms, dealing with the macroeconomy, had decided to build some strength, and we were trying to create a higher low at 20,000, bounce from there and keep our trend going up towards 22,000. But we get dumped right down at the critical point, right? Exactly at the point where we needed some support. If you look at this here, where this big candlestick comes in, this white line here is where we needed to U-turn and start working our way back up. And I was confident that if we didn't have what was going on here with FTX, we could have done that and continued our upward trend here to try get our relief rally. Now, we look like we're coming back for another retest. If we're unable to turn around here, Bitcoin could well be heading back to that 18,700 level, which is not fantastic at all. So a lot of people who are saying, oh, this is just an FTT issue. No, it's not. FTT collapse will cause consequences for Alameda Research, will cause consequences for FTX. If the exchange FTX falls, this will have widespread contagion effects across the crypto space. Just look at Terra Luna. The Terra Luna incident was not isolated, right? Once Terra Luna collapsed, and a lot of people are drawing parallels between the FTT issue right now and Terra Luna, we had huge number of dominoes fall across the board, right? Still to this day, there are many companies who are still solvent right now that were affected by the Terra Luna crisis. You can claim that Alameda was actually one of those, right? You can claim that Sam Bankman-Fried's portfolio was affected hugely by that as well. So whether it was Celsius, whether it was 3 Arrows Capital, whether it was Voyager, all of these players were affected hugely by the Terra Luna collapse. So this would be even bigger. This would be of a bigger scale. FTX is the second largest exchange in the world. And rightfully so, in my opinion, people are starting to remove their funds. And we covered that off in yesterday's video. In my opinion, and I don't personally use FTX, but if you're using FTX or any exchange which comes across some of this FUD, whether it's real, whether it's just FUD, right? At the end of the day, if there is even a minute possibility that your funds could be lost on that exchange, it's your responsibility, nobody else's, right? Crypto doesn't have the government hugging you with regulation. And so if you don't like regulation and you don't want the government telling you what to do with your funds, show some responsibility, take some accountability and say, you know what, when I see this FUD happening, I'm not going to be the person that loses my money and then cries for regulation. I'm going to take that responsibility. I'm going to split it across multiple exchanges. Like many smart people have said that they do. I split mine across many exchanges. Check out BYBIT, check out BitGet, check out any other exchange you want, Binance. Get it set up and put a little bit in each of these. That way you spread your risk. It's just the basics, and you should be doing that in the banking space as well. It's not like traditional finance is okay. Just because the government saves you up to a certain amount, your money can still be lost, right? You got to spread it across different places. And that's basic risk management. Speaking of basic risk management, clearly Alameda Research doesn't have any, right? That's where this whole disaster came from, was analyzing their balance sheet and looking at this flywheel where they were creating a token, pumping the price, marking those gains to market. We covered this all yesterday. It's a very, very genius but Ponzi-like model that is being established. And this is the fear right now, is that their entire balance sheet, pretty much 5.8 billion of it, is sat in FTT tokens, which, by the way, that 5.8 billion, whenever that was quoted in terms of the price, you've got to write that down by whatever the fall in the price has been since here, right? So if you're going to take this price now down to wherever it went, let's just see where it's at currently, not even the wick, 30%. You've got to knock off 30% off that already, right? So it's not 5.8 billion anymore. And this is where you start to become solvent. What is the way out for Sam Bankman-Fried? Well, Sam Bankman-Fried has to prove that they are what they're about, right? He's saying here FTX is fine, assets are fine. Okay, he's got to keep redeeming. When people go to withdraw their funds, which they should rightfully so, he's got to keep proving that he's got the capital. Keep giving it back, keep giving it back, keep giving it back. But what happens if he doesn't? And this is where people don't understand. This is what happened with Terra Luna. When they run out, when they need to tap into their reserves, this causes a lot of problems for the market. So yes, Sam Bankman-Fried could technically meet the requirements, according to him, of everybody asking for their funds back, but at what consequence to the market? Let me give an example. Let's say he sat on a whole bunch of Solana, which he knows he is on his balance sheet, and people keep redeeming their USDT off of FTX. He's now going to have to go and dump his Solana. So whilst this has got nothing to do with Solana directly, it's part of the ecosystem. This is a project that Sam Bankman-Fried has backed a lot. He holds a lot of the tokens. He's held it from day one. So this is a natural coin for him to dump to get some extra liquidity to protect his baby, FTT, otherwise the whole FTX could collapse. So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Obviously, he doesn't want to damage Solana, but he also knows that he can take a risk on Solana to avoid FTT collapsing. And that's why you're seeing this downward pressure just in 3 days there, guys, to the current price rate is 23%. If you take it down to the wick there, 32% fall here on Solana. And if you're in Team Solana, you would be gutted right now. Why? Because you've had a horrible year. You've had plenty of downtime. You've had negative press during this bear market. And then you're going into your breakpoint event where you're going to announce a bunch of different projects. You got Render speaking. You're showing off your Solana phone. And it's supposed to be a really positive conference where the price could see some upward momentum. And then you could not time it. This happens at exactly the same time, driving Solana to the downside. So really unfortunate for anybody who holds Solana. I personally hold Solana as well. And the question which I keep getting, particularly in our Discord, is it time to sell Solana? Should I be selling my Solana? And my take on this, and again, never financial advice, right? My take on this is going to come down to conviction. How much conviction do you have? Because the reality is, if you have conviction, this shouldn't shake you. This is normal course of action, and you should be sitting back and saying, okay, I'm going to let the dust settle and then look to buy the dip. So I certainly wouldn't be catching a falling knife. I wouldn't just be going in gung-ho right now and buying the dip, because you don't know where this dust is going to settle. One of the areas people are confused about is Binance's on-chain data. The on-chain data suggests that Binance has not even sold a penny of FTT yet. This initial movement is just the bank run so far. I don't know if we've got evidence of FTX selling any Solana yet, but this could just be fears. This could just be the first stage before any of that big selling is done. Remember, he said it's going to take weeks to do. SCZ said it's going to take weeks to sell off that FTT position. So this could just be the start of what could be a painful, painful beginning of the bottom of this bear market. Maybe this is the final capitulation that really struggles for Bitcoin, drives it down to lows, punishes the likes of Solana and FTT and some of the other altcoins as well. Maybe that's what was required. And I hate to say it, but this is not great for the crypto space. This is really not good. It's one thing having Do Kwon, Suzu from 3 Hours Capital, Alex Minsky, these guys kind of being in the press as you know, bad mavericks, but to have your top echelon people, to have CZ and Sam Bankman-Fried, exchange volume number 1 and exchange volume number 2, publicly going at it and not being able to agree and showing kind of the kind of backhanded tactics that we see in this space, it's not great, right? It's not a great look for crypto, especially when these two should be sitting down and showing a united front against traditional finance, against the establishment. And that's why it's not good for crypto. So anybody who's like, oh yeah, I don't like Sam Bankman-Fried, I want to see FTX collapse, this is going to cause widespread contagion. And that's the point of this video, is anybody who thinks this is isolated, it's not, okay? And this is not just spoiling the run-up we were having here on Bitcoin, which done really well to recover. It didn't visit its June lows. Now that risk is very much back in, that Bitcoin could be visiting those June lows of 17,600, and this could get much, much worse. Am I personally selling my Solana? No. Now, there's a separate reason for that. I bought in Solana quite early. I'm still sat on an okay size bag. It's not huge, so I'm fine with it just sitting there. I'm certainly not adding more. And technically, if I was would I be closer to buying the dip on Solana, or would I be closer to selling? I would be closer to selling. And the reason for that is not to do with what we're seeing here. This has got nothing to do with it. These fluctuations I can deal with, whether it's with a Phantom, whether it's with the Algorand or a Matic or anything else that I hold, I can deal with these news events because it doesn't affect my conviction. But if you watch my videos from weeks and months ago on Solana, my conviction was already rattled with their downtime. And so events like this can only speed up the selling of a project like that. So, you know, if I'm not currently selling, to make that very clear, but if I was, I'd be closer to selling than I would be to buying the dip right now on Solana, and not to do with this event, but to do with the downtime, and I want to see them make progress. So I'm going to sit on that one, sit on that bag, let it play out. If we get some crazy prices and I change my mind and I want to buy some more, I will be the first to let you guys know. But right now, I'm disappointed with their overall growth and the downtime that we've been experiencing on Solana. Now, I do want to touch upon a little bit of a thread that I saw by Alex Velatis. Great thread here. And this kind of went on to explain some of the history, right, behind CZ and Sam Bankman-Fried. And I think this is an important bit to touch upon, because we covered this off yesterday, that where on the spectrum do we sit between CZ's actions? Is it on the one side that CZ simply wanted to manage his risk? He saw what happened with Terra Luna. He had a whole bag of Luna, which he messed up with, and he doesn't want to do the same with his FTT bag? Or is this more of a really nefarious plot to go and attack his biggest competitor, the second largest exchange, FTX? And you can sit anywhere on the spectrum, and the reality is nobody knows the answer. You can see a tweet thread here saying, oh no, it was completely, you know, a plotted, planned attack by CZ. And then other people say, no, he's just selling his position, right? And we don't really know where we sit on that. Now, there are a few things which we dived into yesterday which kind of suggest that, look, CZ is not happy, right? We know that if you read the thread, we know that he invested in early stages into FTX. He sold his position last year. He got paid out in FTT. And now he's choosing to dump. And so a lot of people are saying, oh, he waited for this perfect moment to dump this bag at a time when he knew that FTT was struggling, when the FUD was going around, and he wanted to tip them over the edge. Who knows? Who knows, right? The reality of the thing is, FUD can be spread at any given time on any platform. There could be FUD spread around Binance tomorrow. It could be Phantom the next day. It could be BYBIT. It could be Ethereum. FUD spreads, and you need to show how well capitalized and how strong a project you are. And that's the key here. Either Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX are well capitalized and they will see this as just being what it is in the past, or this is going to unravel. And if it does unravel, then you get that Terra Luna situation where you start to see that there was no substance and it becomes glaringly obvious. And that's the risk right now, is when you look at the balance sheet, you see that this is all propped up on FTT token, right? And this is all pumped up by a self-fulfilling spiral in this flywheel effect. Remember, they create the FTT token, they pump the price with sponsorships, name a stadium, etc. Then you can mark your balance sheet to the new price. If FTX drives up all the way to $50, you can mark that on your balance sheet, right? You can show, oh, I have 1 billion FTT tokens. That's $50 billion. Put it on your balance sheet. That's going to attract more investors. It means you can raise more money, and you just repeat the cycle. So if you're wondering, how do all these exchanges suddenly get all this money to name stadium rights and pay Ronaldo or pay Messi or any of these other platforms, you've got to understand that there could be some of these risks, and it's about time we become smarter to this. Now, we know that using centralized exchanges is part of the necessary evil of navigating the crypto space. You've got to use an exchange, right? It doesn't mean you need to marry any of them. I do the opposite, right? I'd have 6, 7 exchanges, and I would be splitting my funds in all of them, and I'd be moving it and just using the one that I like trading in at that moment. Which exchange do I like? Is it BYBIT today because I like the interface? Fine, but I'm not going to keep all my money in there. I'm going to transfer some from Binance and then trade in BYBIT and then move some of the profits back out, put some into cold wallet. You've got to be smart. You've got to be diversified, because this contagion is just starting right now, and the pain could be seriously real. So we need to see some support coming from Bitcoin. I want to see some support quicker than the 18,700. If we fall straight to 18,700, I'm just worried we could lose this level. We've held it as support too many times, and I'm just worried the more number of times you test that support, the more likely you are to break in. Guys, if you don't follow any of this technical analysis, now is a great time for you to take advantage of my free course. Made it completely free, guys. This is going to be thousands of dollars. Any other technical analysis or traditional finance person will be selling this for thousands of dollars. It's completely free. Ijaz.uk/TA. Go watch it. It will not be free forever. I teach EMA ribbons. I teach all the chart patterns, Fibonacci extensions, you name it. You watch that course, you're going to level up your TA. And if you don't, drop me a message in the Discord to say, I knew all that. I'm going to give you my props. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the links in the description. Don't forget to go watch this video here. And I'll see you in the next one.